This episode is proudly brought to you by our sponsors who make this content possible. Thank you for your support.
All right, we are doing the tornado. Monica wants us to do a tornado. I don't know what it is, but what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Let's Connect Now. Oh, we're in it. It's going to be a great show. Monica sent me some stuff that, I don't know, we're going to be talking about. And then she said, like, you know what? Oh, you got to bring an Oscar. I'm like, whoa. We got an Oscar now, too? Whoa, this is going to be an amazing show.
You know, like most of you guys know, he never does his homework. So he's just going to probably... probably wing it, but I'm going to throw him a curveball along the way somehow, some way.
What? And then, I'm glad that the curveball is going to be thrown to both of us because Oscar has no idea what we're talking about.
No, but Oscar, yeah.
I'm ready. Oscar got the notes.
You don't know what I've been sending him.
But as you guys know, Oscar is part of the production of Let's Connect Now. He's also a member of the Greater West Covina Business Association. He has his own business. Share real quick, once again, remind the audience what your business does.
Yeah, we're Moreno Productions. We provide weddings, photo, video, photo booths, and also marketing for local businesses. So whatever people need, help out any content creation.
Ooh, I love it, and he's really good too. I'm still waiting for our intro, but we're good.
No, and a huge shout out to the community here and for helping me out so much with my business, my family business. Like we've been able to connect with other business leaders within the community.
Oh, cool!
And
yeah.
Just yesterday I locked in with the florist.
Bonita La Flor.
Bonita La Flor. So I'm gonna do a quinceañera for their family. So
that's awesome.
And that's a great connection because she's always doing weddings and birthdays and all kinds of other events, and they need your services.
So now I know who to also invite to the vendor mixers.
Exactly. See,
networking. And that connection came about during the introduction was fully made during our Unsung Hero event breakfast.
Yeah.
No, it's wonderful that you're doing that.
Hey, I'm Michael.
I'm Ralph.
Welcome to Munoz and Munoz.
Come check it out. Here at Munoz and Munoz, every case is important to us. Big or small or big, we're here to help you.
And here also, privacy is our #1 priority for all of our clients. So come check it out. Our #1 priority is serving the community. We want to give the best attorney service out there in the industry. We're here to help you. Please call us for any personal injury or criminal defense needs that you may need.
So thank you guys for visiting our firm. As you can see, I'm here, Michael's here, always ready to serve you guys for any questions. And please, do not hesitate to call us for anything you need. It could be the simple question, we're here for you. Y sí, hablamos español.
Shoulders, knees, and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. And eyes and cheeks and mouth and nose. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes.
Affordable self-care from professional massage therapists and estheticians. It's what we do. Massage Envy, where better begins.
Hey everybody, I hope you guys are enjoying the show with Let's Connect Now. My name is Danielle Wood. I'm with Prospectors Federal Credit Union, a division of Certified Federal. You guys want to contact us regarding any banking needs or even auto loans and personal loans, feel free to contact me at any time. You can reach me at 909-396-9688 or 909-504-7371. I'm looking forward to talking and speaking with you all soon. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
What's the topic, Monica?
So one of the things that I want to talk today, it's a very sensitive issue. It's where we're going to be sharing some stories, our truth, our current situation, that our communities are going through with this whole immigration, protest, and the whole all these raids that are going on, how it's really affecting the business community. But I also want to share a little bit about my story because I am definitely, I'm an immigrant, which, when I say that word immigrant, it really doesn't sit with me, and it hasn't sat with me ever, really, to be honest with you, until now. So I know it's a sensitive issue, and we might not have all the facts, about this conversation, but it's something that it's definitely affecting our communities, our people. And the reason why I said I was going to throw your curveball, JR, is because it's important that people realize that the people that were born here, like yourself, you don't really consider, and it's not a bad thing, so don't think that I'm lashing at you in any way, in a negative way. There's a lot of people like yourself who are not Mexican, who are Hispanic, but not of Mexican descent.
Chicano.
Chicano, who feel the way you feel, because I've been watching you through this whole thing, and I take this very personal, the current situation very personal, because again, I'm an immigrant, and like many stories, I mean, you as someone who was born here, who is a Latino, you almost feel offended that this is happening, that people like yourself are being stopped and being treated
harassed,
like I
like
would
an
be
immigrant,
treated, and I'm sure you have feelings about that, because you were born here. You have I feel like this kind of stuff doesn't really affect you. It's more like you're trying to build a defense mechanism for yourself, like many others, I'm sure.
Well, it's not building a defense mechanism. It's growing up. I was very Chicano. Because my family and stuff taught us, because, my family and stuff, they were the cholos, the cholas. That was the era, the pachucos. My grandpa, I would go to my grandpa's house, and he would sit in his chair dressed like a pachuco and still old school. And he was a good looking guy, man. I was like, dang.
With the chains and everything?
Yeah, well, not the chains, but just his pants and the way his shirt was. And it was hot, but he would sit there like this, and his hair combed and like a pompadour. He looked amazing. And so raised with that stuff, and then growing up, I was very Chicano. I was Chicano to the point to where I wouldn't even date outside my race. In high school, I would only date Latinos, Latinas. Hey, you guys don't know about me. No, I would only date Latinos again. Latinas,
Calling out Eric?
I was very Chicano. My dad was very Chicano, my and stuff. But this time now, like I'm getting to that point. So I was very vocal back then, to where I even would have, as I started to get a little more educated, because I believe it's all about education. Yeah. So as I began to educate myself and get a little more educated, the people I would hang out with, because I was very vocal when Facebook came out, I was very still vocal about Chicano and this is raza and this and that. And people always tell me, JR, hey man, when I met you, you weren't like that. And don't get me wrong, it was the Caucasians and everybody else that have money that were telling me this, and they said you should use your voice in a different way. And so I've, even to now, it does affect me in the way of like, but I know that we need to fight in a different way. We got to grow. We got to grow up. Because by doing certain things, all we're doing is, whether you're trying to get someone's attention, you could do it the right way or the wrong way.
You could try to diverse or unify.
Yes, and so where I'm at is, because believe me, when the Rodney King riots, man, I was gonna go down there too. Not as like protest, but I was gonna go, loot. That was my mentality back in the day when I was young. It was the same as whatever. Yeah. But I said, if I'm gonna make a difference, I got to do it the right way.
Yeah.
So I respect your feelings, and I'm sure, Oscar has something to say about that as well. But from my perspective, how this situation currently affects me is because I came here when I was only 8 years old. We crossed the border, with our passports, I'm sure, it was all legal. We didn't do any of the, nothing illegal, but we were still immigrants. My parents worked really hard. I remember my dad comes from the radio. My dad was a personality in Mexico, someone who wore a suit, someone who was very respected in the community. I went to private school. We had a beautiful home in Mexico, but when there was something happened where we just, we lost our home, and my dad had to find other ways to to sustain his family. And he had a lot of family here that were U.S. citizens, and they told him, you should just come to the United States and make a different different living for your family. My dad had beautiful hands, never doing anything, no gardening, no nothing ever. Everybody did it for us. We had nannies. I grew up with a nanny, and then coming here, when I think back, of, my dad had to go. I remember in La Jolla, California, my dad was a gardener. And he would come home with blisters in his hands. He couldn't even get up the next day. He was doing hard work. And he couldn't understand it. And I even remember one time my dad even crying because his back was hurting so bad. And I didn't understand why our life had changed so much. And honestly, I tried running away to go back to Mexico because I loved Mexico. I loved my life over there. And how dare my parents take that away from me. I remember my mom had to work in a restaurant making pizzas, and when she brought a pizza home, I didn't even know what it was. I thought the pepperonis were bologna. In my eyes, I didn't even know what a hamburger was. Because we didn't eat that way. So and just seeing my parents working so hard versus the life that I had before, I couldn't accept it. I would refuse to accept that life. And even when we moved to Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, my dad had a different job in a car wash. So my dad always had a Social Security card because his brothers and sisters were U.S. citizens. They were married to U.S. citizens. So they, back in the day, my dad, when he was 19, he came here he would come all the time with his sisters. And so he had a Social Security, a legal Social Security. So that opened up doors for him and for us as a family. And then, moving forward, I remember when I said running away, seriously, till I was like 12 years old, I still couldn't accept the fact that I was going to school here, that I didn't understand the language, and I just wanted to run away and go back because I love my life. And so I really resented my parents for that. I resented my parents for working hard like if we were poor, when I never experienced that, being bullied in school, all the time, being called, wetback and beaner, because I didn't speak English. And I'm sure that there's so many others that probably grew up the way I did. We've never got deported or anything like that, but I felt my parents' pain. And I think right now I'm feeling it even more because there's so many families that have probably the same life that I've had. And so the way we're being treated and the way they're taking our dignity away, it's something that hits me so hard. I've even, I cry in my sleep because I feel the pain of other people, because that was my life. That was seriously my life. Like, I'm not just telling a story because I want pity or whatever. I'm telling you what is really happening and how hardworking the Hispanic community is, and not just Hispanic. I'm speaking for every race, right? Because just because we speak a different language doesn't mean that our story is different. A story is the same. But I feel it differently than he does. And I don't know about you.
My mom has similar to you, like being separated from her mom, her coming here first, and then eventually she coming over here, but her missing her family, her life in Mexico, but like her parents wanted a better life for her and get situated here. And then with my dad, it was from El Salvador. It was either join the army or the revolutionaries, and his mom decided to have him escape and I think it was through train rides through Mexico to eventually make it out here. And then my mom and my dad met in East LA, and then through being a resident and little by little getting their way through U.S. citizenship. So now they have papers, thankfully, but just through that time before, we're just so lucky. There's people that are still in the process, and then they just get everything taken away from them, or that they're not, it's just on the timing. So it's really sad how they're treating us, and how they're just tearing away families and creating these unforgettable trauma that we're never
exactly
gonna forget,
and that's what some people don't understand. They think it's just easy for everyone to just just say oh well, they're here illegally and oh well, they should have never came that way or whatever. But yes, you are right. Yes, they are right. We probably shouldn't have. They probably shouldn't.
Yeah, it's more about like just having a unifying conversation around it, like finding the solution for everybody, rather than blaming or saying the other points. Like what's the solution?
Exactly. So I don't even know if you think that way. I mean, the way the way we think. I don't know if you have any family of immigrants or.
Oh yeah.
I the way I think about the whole situation is that I was all for deporting the criminals. Like, because that's what it supposedly started as. That hey, we're gonna deport criminals. Well, yeah, dude, clean up, man. Let's clean up. But when you're watching everything now, and and it's like you don't know with social media, man. You don't know what's truth or what's. It's very hard. It's very hard to determine what's truth and false. But when you see a lot, of course, in the news and the media, then you kind of see. But yet. Seeing how now I feel that it's been taken too far now, where it's like, come on, you're disrupting now everybody. It's
the whole economy now.
Yeah, you're and then the way the border patrol is acting, they're acting like I don't know, like you watch movies of freaking cartels. They're acting like cartel. They're just pulling up, bam, drop you in.
Yeah,
I'd expect like a drug lord to be caught by now.
Exactly.
Like
it's really weird how we feel like criminals because we have brown skin.
Yeah.
Or if you're Chinese or even Cubans, and it just feels so personal, to me. I mean, personally, it feels personal. I mean, I'm glad that my father, when Ronald Reagan was in office, my dad went through the whole amnesty program and saved up money for all his family to become legal, and then they became U.S. citizens, but I'm proud to say that my parents never, even though we were legal, we never relied on, and I'm sure a lot of Hispanic families, we never relied on welfare, Medi-Cal. Nothing was ever free for us. We never went that route, and I'm proud for that, because my dad always said, no, as long as I'm working and your mother is working, you guys, we're never gonna scoop that low, because we didn't come here to beg for anything. We came here to make a better life, to create better opportunities for you guys, and get an education and just live a righteous life, and now they have dual citizenship. They come and go as they want, but we've never taken anything from the government. Like,
if anything, you guys contributed to the
exactly,
which is happening now. Everybody's contributing to the economy.
And I'm proud of my parents that they did that, and my dad just at 82 years old, he just sits back and he's watching all this stuff that's going on, and he's just like, wow. But my dad did say, but we did it right. We went through step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so I'm just curious as to, if you've been here 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, why haven't you done that? Why haven't our people done that?
And it's also it's not like I feel like it's also gotten more complicated too, the process since then. And also even people that are doing it the right way, even just in court hearings, they're being taken away. So it's
they're going
really
there on their weekly or whatever monthly check to do they're in the process, and they're getting arrested. Dude, that's horrible.
Does that make sense?
It makes zero sense. That's the thing. It's out of line.
That they're like, oh, we either take one or we take all. Like, they just need to meet their quotas, where they're like even negotiating with the attorneys of like which person to take in.
Yeah,
they just need to meet their quota.
It's just awful how.
And I believe that we should be protesting. Yeah, our voice has to be heard, and of course, it shows the unity of us all together. And a good friend of mine, he has his own podcast, and he's very controversial. But I'll name him. His American Cholo, Gil from American Cholo, is a very big podcast, and he talks a lot about political. But he was saying one of his feeds exactly what I was saying earlier, and that's where I got it from, is that he says your approach has to be different, because the guy was arguing with him about, about the whole situation about how we look and stuff. But he said with the way Gil was able to, I wouldn't say win the conversation, but make it a point. He said, so you're telling me right now, if you had a court date, you would wear your wife beater, your Dickie shorts, socks all the way up, and Nike Cortez, and stand in front of the judge. Is that what you're telling me? And so the caller, and the guy goes, well, no. He goes, right, because you would present yourself right. And that's what I'm saying. We need to present ourselves right. If we present ourselves right and do it right, because our voices are not going to get heard if we make just noise. Our voices are going to get heard if we make the right noise. That's why they always say, growing up, you want to make a change, well, then get into politics.
But do Hispanics really think that our voice matters?
No, we don't think our voice matters, but that's the thing. It depends on what everything is in the United States. I'm sorry, but everything's categorized. There's genres and everything, and in whatever industry you're in, that's who you appeal to. We're in this industry. We're in the business industry, so we got to dress different, prepare ourselves different. People that are in the music industry, they get to dress whatever they want. They can dress who they are from the streets or whatever. Every genre or whatever you're involved in, but when you're trying to cross over to make a point into another genre or another, group of people, you can't force them to say your way is the right way.
Because I feel like right now, even though we're igniting this whole movement or this whole thing that's going on with immigration and our voice being heard, I mean, are we causing a positive impact or a negative impact? I don't know. What are your thaughts on that?
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that? When she's saying burning cars,
on that note, I say I'm so proud of LA and our community, like being able to hold a protest, and it was mostly safe and peaceful. There was
the Saturday ones was great. Yeah,
like in the nation and the U.S. history, that was the biggest attended.
Yeah, the No Kings Parade.
Yeah, that like
great,
in the history of the U.S. that was the biggest.
I mean, not
protest nationally, or I don't know if that's true or not, but for nationally, other even red states had gatherings that were peaceful.
Oh, they were huge.
Everybody showed up, and they say that like it's not that effective, but I feel like at least just having that distraction of like having people look at what's happening compared to what was happening that same day of like the Army anniversary and their parade and everything. So just to see where the culture is, where the people are, and how the people are reacting.
I thought it was beautiful that they came out for that specific thing.
Where we live, I saw a protest.
Yeah, right there on
Indian Hill, and right there, and I drove right through it, and I was like, "Oh, dang it!" Because at first I'm like, "Oh man," because I never want to be in those type of protests because everyone's in the street walking, and I'm like I rolled my windows up, and I'm Chicano, but I rolled my windows because I'm like, no one better hit my car. Come on, man. I just got my toes done. I'm just gonna.
Look at what he's worried about. Oh my god.
No. I'm just saying because
first world problems.
No, but I'm just saying because some people that everyone cares, but to damage.
Once it ruins your routine.
To damage somebody's property to make a point. Who's paying for that? Like if somebody damaged my car. Who am I going after? I have to pay for it.
Paying for that military parade? We are.
Yeah, we are. So I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is like everything was peaceful. Saturday, I mean, you saw it all over, not just the news but media, because people were posting like it was just so unified. So it was great, and that's how it should be. I even see posts of people. And it wasn't even really Raza burning the American flags. There was other ethnicities trying to burn it.
There was even Raza trying to not have them
to prevent it. Like, hey, don't do that. I live here. So those are the videos that need to go viral to show that we're not, the other people sometimes get involved just to get involved.
I think that's the other second part of the battle of like controlling the narrative of these protests, and like of course the right is always gonna try to just show the cars burning or all the havoc, but you won't see the biggest picture, and that's one thing we need to make sure we control that narrative too for these ideologists to not have that fuel to lead the people on the fence against us. And because
that's the thing, like we don't win on both sides because there are those that want us to go out and protest, and then there is those that want us to protest because they want to show like the chaos that we might do, but we're not doing any chaos. It's just the people that take advantage of the situation.
And there's always going to be people trying to provoke and
take advantage of the situation and stuff.
So, no, one thing I really loved was like they interviewed a Marine when they were there at the parade, and he were asking for his thoughts.
I seen that, yes.
And then he was saying he feels bad also for the Marines that were deployed here because they don't have anything. No way, they just got to follow their orders. They just gotta do what they're supposed to do and ask no questions. That's kind of like how it is. So they probably in the inside don't want to be there, but they just gotta. Some of them are on their pathway to citizenship as well. So it's really a complicated issue where I also pray for the ICE agents and for Marines that are put in these situations. Maybe they're just trying to make money, also survival mode to feed their families. But I also think for them to look deep in their hearts that maybe different career choice, different ways to go about it. But it's really
different ways to go about it.
Yeah,
ICE is not doing it in a professional manner. They're doing it like we're animals, and that's what's getting people pissed off. If they, like you said, you got a job, so do your job, but do it with you're a human being still. So
I noticed some of the videos on social media because I follow ICE on Instagram, and I see some of the videos and some of the postings of criminals when they grab a criminal, and the criminals go and they're like, it's almost like they're very calm and they just put the handcuffs on them and they're just taking them. Now, when it comes to ripping, fathers out of their homes and or on the streets while they have their kids and their wives or their family with them, the resistance on certain folks, it's really sad to see, because now you're hearing the kids crying, the wife and everybody just causing so much chaos. But the way they're being treated as if they committed a crime, when in fact they don't even know if that person really is an illegal person. I hate saying alien because somebody was right. Like, we're not aliens. But I hate it that they say that, right? It's just sad to me that if you choose not to be identified or choose to say whether you are or you aren't, you get treated the same.
Yeah.
You get treated with no dignity. It's almost like, wow, they're resisting because, I don't know, I just hate seeing that. To me,
it's heartbreaking. It hurts.
It's very
betrayal.
heartbreaking.
Even as a U.S. citizen, I feel afraid of just getting pulled out of my car right now at this point, at this moment. Like, people like me are getting pulled over.
Like, me in my mind, I'm thinking, if they do that, what am I really ready to say? Am I going to be really nervous? What am I going to say because of the color of my skin? And I don't know. It feels weird. So
history repeats itself, and time will tell. Time will show what happened these last weekends.
But it's not. But it's something that I'm hearing that it's not going away anytime soon.
No, I think the biggest thing is the next bill that's about to be passed. If it gets passed, then they'll have more budget, and it'll just keep on going for another.
Yeah, it's all about us voting. So it's all about us
staying informed. What they're just trying to distract us on what's most important.
Exactly. And I have family, not direct family members, but family members that have their sons who work for immigration. They work at the border in TJ, and their families, like some of their immediate family, they don't even have green cards. But and I'm thinking to myself, like, I wonder how they think. I wonder if they think that it's okay. I wonder what they're telling them to do, and they don't really want to do it, but they're doing it. And yes, we're creating this hate towards them, right? Towards them and their authority or whatever. But are they really, really doing it because they're being instructed to do it that way? Enforce force, it doesn't matter if it's a woman or a child or whatever. They're still being handcuffed, and it's really sad. It's really, really sad.
And it is sad because like I said, they're I just saw a woman, being arrested on social media, and they're literally pulling her arm and stuff. Like, if I get it. Some people are watching and go, well, she's here illegally, so she broke the law. but they're treating her as if she just like killed
she
somebody.
murdered someone,
She
yeah.
just murdered somebody. Like she's like she's on America's Most Wanted, and they got her.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, dude, and you're right. When they come, I feel like if they would just have more of just morals, you know, like approaching people the right way and not just handcuffing them. And then 'cause what's happening is like they're not. Like they have to identify themselves, because anybody could get an ICE costume. You could go to a Halloween store and get the whole thing and start just throwing people in a van, you know. So you got to identify yourself and then ask the question. But what they're doing is they're arresting and asking the questions at the facility, and then they let you go. But dude, you made me look dumb. You put me through this whole process.
No, but this is so traumatic.
You ripped me in front of my family and all this stuff, and it's just
and that's
just
what I was
done.
thinking. That's what I was thinking.
I feel sometimes, you know what? It's
honestly, honestly, I feel the real criminals are the senators that are not reading the bills, that are letting this all pass, and now they're like,
oh
we
shoot,
didn't read
what do we
this.
do? Yeah,
we voted for this, but we don't really support it. Like the people we're putting into office are not really protecting us. So that's something I think that at the end it's mainly the people with the behind the scenes that are pulling the strings, that are
it's true. And I get in arguments with people a lot on social media, DMs, friends and stuff, and they always say, oh, this and this and this and that about politics and stuff. And I say, you know what, man, do you want to make a difference? And they're like, yeah. I go, what city you live in? And then they tell me the city, and I go, okay, run for your district. What? I go, you're complaining so much, run for council. So you can make a difference. Well, nah, man, no, you know, I'm just saying. I go, see, that's the only, by you just rambling on, it's not going to change anything. You got to step up. And if you step up,
I think just like bundling people up, of being like your side, my side, or that's what they say, you guys say, just like always generalizing, like, it's just like, let's just stop that, you know, let's just try to create a conversation where we're looking for a solution, we're unifying, we're not trying to create like me versus you. Like that's the biggest thing that I always struggle. I know right now we're at a point where we don't even want to talk to any Trump supporter, but I'm still like to have those friends that I like to know what their point of view, what they think, also for them to like, some of them are changing their ways of like regretting their vote and coming out to supporting us, and that's what I like to see, and just being more open to, because there's a lot of people, even in like older generations of other parents that got caught, were like, oh yeah, we'll vote for Trump and all this stuff, and he's gonna promise this and that, and now they're like seeing the real repercussions.
Well, yeah, people
kind of like
vote the other way to see a different narrative, but when they see someone taking advantage of the situation, because you know, at the end of the day, it's like this: like those that vote for Trump, those that didn't. When someone's doing something wrong, and they're doing something wrong, and they're going to support no matter what, and that's how I view it. You know,
and we're all in this together.
And we're all in this together. At the end of the day, we are the middle class, and we get to hit the most. And a lot of the stuff gets pushed onto us.
And I respect the fact,
happens.
you know, I respect the fact that, people should follow the law, right? People should follow, you know, people should do this so that you know, we don't have to live through
people
this.
Should follow
right?
the Constitution.
Yes, too. And I feel that personally. I feel that, you know, I am proud of both of my parents for doing what they did and doing everything right, you know, and even when they hit a wall, they found a way around it to make sure that hey, you know, let's investigate that. A lot of you know, our people are procrastinators, and that's just, I don't know, that's just something that we're born with, and sometimes they just procrastinate because they get comfortable, right? People get comfortable. They feel like, oh, that's never going to happen. You know, that's never going to happen. Like we never thought in a million years, or that never even went through our minds that we would go through COVID. You know, that the whole world will shut down. You know, we never thought of that in our lifetime. You know, we've read about, you know, that, but I mean, those kind of situations happening. But we've never, you know, we probably never even thought about this now today, you know, that this would ever happen, and that it would get as bad as it has gotten, right? And so I have a lot of compassion for people. I mean, he knows. I mean, I see a person selling flowers, you know, in the freeway entrance or an exit or whatever, and I just think the world of them, because I think, oh my God, here it is, 100 degrees, and they're there selling us flowers. There's thousands of people working the fields so that make sure that we have, great fruit, great vegetables in our homes, and I just think of how hard their work is.
Exactly.
My heart hurts.
No, well, I want to say thank you for bringing up this sensitive, important topic. I've been trying to find what way to talk about or spread awareness or do what I can to support the community, because I feel like right now it is kind of like COVID again, and I think it's like biggest thing, like to check up on our close ones. I think the biggest struggle right now is like to getting our tios and tias to not work and to stay inside. Like that's been a struggle, because they always just they need to do something, they want to make work, they have families to feed, so it's like check up on your loved ones, take them, do the grocery shopping for them, see how you can help, and
and it's not like we're trying to keep them hidden or whatever. We're not trying to do anything but we're protecting, we're trying to help in some way and let people know that hopefully there's hope. There's always hope in every situation, right? In every situation there's always hope, and I just want people to know that as a Hispanic, as an immigrant, I am Mexican, Mexican American. I mean, I probably have the same life that a lot of people have had or have currently. There's a little girl that was like me that probably said, like, why are they bringing me here? I don't want to be here. I don't understand the language. But just know that there's hope. There's hope for everybody, and I don't know when all this stuff is gonna end. But I just really want to thank our leaders, our legislators, our Senator Gil Cisneros. I mean, I really want to thank them, because they are spreading great information.
Those that are standing up for us.
Yes, great information for people, and I am going to be jumping on a call with the office of the supervisors, at about 1:00, and there's going to be a lot of different services that are going to be available for people, and I just hope that people really I know that they're afraid, and I'm sorry for that, and just know that I mean, us as a team, we're feeling it too. But just because we're not out there protesting and being part of that doesn't mean that that we're insensitive to the current situation. I'm 100%.
No, I'm very sensitive. I'm praying every day too. Yeah. And sometimes some of the best things we could do is really just pray and ask the Lord, God, please, what's going on? Show us, teach us, because I see, I'll say this, growing up, in a Hispanic, right here in La Puente, and stuff, we were taught, not to like cops, not to, because, we see the cops rough off our family members. We see the cops rough up my father and stuff, and that give us the respect. I mean, on the side of their car, and I'm talking about when I'm a kid, okay? So I'm not talking now. So I understand why people are out there angry and they're doing the things, because when I was young, I'm old now, but when I was young, I understand, because I was angry at the police. It said protect and serve, but yet, they're roughing me up, throwing me up against, and it's not, and it wasn't even a Caucasian cop. It was Latino. So to me, it was like he had a chip on his shoulder, because now he has power and he's using it against me. So, and I'm sharing my past, to how I can relate right now. So she's looking at me. I'm not saying now, believe me, sometimes I still have to go, because it wants to rise up in me, because that was me. I was Chicano when I was younger, and like the cops, this and that. Because,
and I'm sure that's the attitude of,
and that's the attitude of right now. So my whole point is, we're not the voice of reason right now, but we're sharing that we do understand. But at a certain age, I had to mature, and know. Once again, I'm sharing again, to make a difference, I have to educate myself, get around the right people to make the right impact, to do those type of things. Because if I still had that attitude when I was a teenager, I would probably be one of the guys on top of the cop cars too, and jumping on there and doing the things, because that was my attitude.
Doesn't it make you wonder, like, what are they thinking?
I'm telling you right now what I'm thinking. We were raised like that. We were raised not to. They're just not the people you want to hang out
and
with.
it's so weird because obviously there some of them are probably extremely uneducated, because don't they realize that all that damage and all the things that you are doing is costing us?
No, it's costing
the taxpayers.
All the cop
You
cars
know?
that they burned, we have to pay for it. So it's not like we didn't get ahead.
And there, but you gotta humanize, the public servants. I mean, they are human beings also. They also have families. They also have children.
There's gonna be something to make you want to pick up that rock, and like they see your family being taken away. Like, what else can you do? Sometimes, also understand their side.
Yeah,
I like the fact that they're videoing, they're getting, they're reporting it and stuff like that, because yes, I believe there's going to be a lot of lawsuits because of the way they're conducting themselves. So there's going to be a lot of lawsuits, and so take video, document it, get the names, do the right thing, do that, because we're going to make a lot of lawyers rich right now.
No, but huge shout out to the people that matured and that are also controlling their fellow people that just want to, let go of their emotions and fight back, and it's something really, really hard, not easy to do, to still stay civil and stay within like the law and everything, because sometimes you just the laws don't matter for them, where like your family's being taken away. All this stuff is happening to your community, where you want to just take it into your own hands and protect and lash out, so.
And you've trained me. We've had talks where I'd be like, the old JR wanted to rise up, and you're like, we can't do that, okay? We're business now, so you need to be nice. See, she's laughing because the old Chicano JR sometimes in certain situations wants to rise up, but she has to be like, hey, we're better than that.
For you and
we're better than that. She'll tell us. And it's like, okay, all right.
No,
all right,
absolutely.
guys,
we want to take it farther, rather than just that little.
Exactly.
And and him being in part of GWC, and we see the relationship that we have with our police department, how awesome these guys are, and they're how they would do anything for me. I know that for a fact.
For her.
For you too. For you too. No. I have a lot of respect. For them, because I've always done everything. I've always
you've very been close to the community.
Yeah.
Well, don't get me wrong.
I'm saying, just like this community is going to continue growing, just like our Hispanic community is going to continue growing, and it's also for us to pay more attention on where we're putting our money and who we're supporting, especially now in these days, like who's silent, who's standing with us.
Exactly.
Where we also have a lot of power, and we also provide a lot to this country. So it's time to take ourselves more seriously too.
Yes.
I like that. Yes.
I love that.
We have the power, but take ourselves more seriously and make.
And I think that's what we're doing right now. I think just us talking about it. I know there's so many layers to this whole conversation. Then we don't have time, to peel the onion. But at least we're touching on the surface, because I see a lot of posts on Facebook from people, Caucasian people, Black people, and some of them, their comments are very insulting. They think that they have the right to say the things that they say, and maybe you do have the right to say it, to voice your opinion about certain things, but I feel offended almost, but I'm bigger than that to comment on it, to rebuttal. You know what? It is what it is, and I'll respect your opinion. But when you're insulting the people that I know that work so hard in this country, it really does something to me. It really just, I'm like him. It almost like, I don't know, I don't have gangster in me, but something
calling me a gangster now.
Well, whatever, I don't have that rage, but it's a different rage, if that even makes sense. It's just like, like, how dare you, I'm sure you've bought,
She trained me a lot to calm down.
I'm sure you've bought, all the fruit that you buy at the market. Who do you think puts that on your table? Who do you think makes your food at the restaurants, washes your dishes, cleans all the linens in the hotels, and does all these things? It's all the hardworking people, because I can tell you for a fact that if you get rid of all of us, if you get rid of all of our people, this country would not be the country that it is. we bring so much richness to it.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't understand. Create a program where a lot of these people can now go and do things right. Facilitate that. That's all I'm saying. And our people, follow through so that, you're not put in situations that are going to hurt your family, and because we really do fall in love with this, with United States, know?
Yeah, and this is for all Americans. Like, hopefully this is not the beginning of other citizens, getting their rights taken away. Like I really pray and for all of America to really pay attention to what's happening and how they're treating us, and just to regular U.S. citizens. That's the biggest thing that's like kind of crossing the line. So it's really time we start speaking out and because who knows who's next,
I like what you said that right now, because there's people watching. I like what you said that right now, because there's people probably watching, not our show, but watching the whole thing going, look at them. Hey, wait. No. We're the guinea pigs right now.
Yeah.
You're not excluded.
We don't know who's next. Like you said, right? Yeah. We don't know what ethnicity is next.
Yeah, you're not excluded.
We don't know. We might be the trial and error.
Maybe small business owners are next. Like they're going to be make it harder for them, education.
So we got to just be praying and stuff, and really support and make our voices heard
together. Keep raising awareness.
And show love. Show love for your community. We don't condone bad behaviors or anything like that. We're not about that. It's not about one race being better than the other. It's not about that. It's just about human beings.
Understanding.
Yeah,
I think that's all it is. Yeah. It's a whole thing of just understanding each other.
Exactly.
And that we're all here.
Well, they all love our buying power.
Yeah.
But
that's for sure.
Yeah, that's where the narrative comes in. Of like
everyone loves our buying power.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we're gonna continue doing our own. That's where, if anything, like the thing that could blossom that's nice about this is that we're gonna create our own communities, our own brands, our own companies to support, that actually give back to us, because there's all these, like, from sports to companies to beverages that don't support us. So why are we supporting them? So,
it could be get going, but we'll end on this is that it's going viral like crazy right now. Is that young lady who did the national anthem in Spanish? Yeah, and everybody's starting to say that. I was
commissioned to be okay to have a national anthem like that in
1945. Yeah, Roosevelt or something commissioned it to be okay to do that.
The goal to reconnect with.
But she went on and she did that. I understand that it's been okay to make a Spanish version of it, but I want to get your point of view. So understand that it was okay to make a Spanish version of it, but that's not the argument. But I think everyone's. I think
the argument is keeping the political stuff out of sports.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So let's take out heritage nights out of.
And they're saying that, and then remove heritage nights and stuff, and they're trying to implement that. And one of them they're saying is the Dodgers. The Dodgers are not doing a lot of stuff. But I see that. When it comes to sport, I see that when it comes to sports,
like marketing runs the world. Eventually, if it gets up to that point where they're gonna see all these comments on their posts and everything, they're gonna have to, once they see their ticket sales go down, they're gonna speak because the marketing runs everything.
Our buying power. But then I seen somebody who is a friend of ours who's now, I believe, considered a celebrity, and he went on air to share, his thoughts about what's happening in LA at the moment, and he didn't win. People criticize him because he read it. People criticize him, told him stick to being a comedian who's giving you that right. And then people criticize him that he wasn't doing enough. So he basically just said, you know what? I don't win, and now I understand why celebrities are quiet. And sometimes that's what happens with big corporations like that. It's not that they don't want to get involved, because they're never going to please a side.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you don't do it to please either side. It's yourself. Like, what's right.
Yes. So if they don't want to do it, they're staying out as a corporation.
Don't read the comments. Don't read
But it's us as individuals. You know what I mean?
You know what you do when you do it right. When you do it out of the heart. Like later, whatever comes out, that don't let it go.
Yeah, because we can't demand people to pick sides.
Yeah,
that's the problem. You can't demand people to pick sides. And do I agree that that I feel like they banned her? I think she should. They did tell her no. So she should respect that they did tell her no. not to sing it, and she did it anyways. But to ban her, no, I don't think that's right. They should have just talked to her and said, hey, that wasn't cool, but hey, next time just listen. But hey, all right, see you later. But they're saying like you and your whole
no, that could have been an easy thing to avoid.
Yeah, you don't do that kind of stuff,
It could have been an easy thing to avoid, even on the Dodgers side, like to take that like way of doing things. Now they're just gonna get a lot of backlash. And
because I have to agree that the national anthem should be sang in English, because it is in English. It was never designed to be sang in Spanish. I don't think that, because what if somebody goes to Mexico and they sing our national anthem in English? That would feel really weird. So, but the fact that she did it here, it was just, I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to give my opinion about that.
I don't know. I really don't care if it was.
Well, it's all over the news now. The radio,
she's proud of herself because she did that, and that's fine. Hey, feel everything that you feel. I really.
Well, I believe people go to those type of events not for political statements. They go there because there's the one thing that people always spend money on, even though they're broke and through trying times, and that's entertainment. So when people go to functions that are like a sports or some type of entertainment, they're going there because they're trying to get away from the things that they don't want to deal with and just have a good time.
Exactly.
So I think that's
But
why certain organizations like the Dodgers and them kind of like, hey, we don't want them here because people are actually wanting to like.
It's
that's
a very
outside.
sensitive
This is
thing
entertainment
right now. I think it was because it's a sensitive. Look at where you're at. I get it, but it's a sensitive issue. And like he said, like JR said, people go to enjoy the game, to really not because what she did, she shocked everyone.
I'm like, whoa, what the heck?
But wouldn't they be also getting involved with the political stuff, like Dodgers, with just letting them use the parking lots and everything? I think it's
the reason it's hard because when they do the LGBT, yeah, you're doing
LGBT. Come on.
LGBTQ, chat GBT.
You know what? You're going to get dinged for this. You better be saying
I'm
that.
saying the reason I understand, there's no right or wrong. It's just, that's my whole point in this. We can't demand people and businesses to conform to the way you want to do. So at the end of the day, it's just that, it's what you believe, and you got to just stand up for what you believe, and that's it, and unite with other people.
Will run the world. And like these people, all our customers are like complaining about this issue. Yeah, we're gonna change the jersey of design or whatever. Like little things they'll eventually
start to adapt
listen.
to. Yeah,
they'll do the most they can to ignore it. Hopefully it'll pass. But if we keep speaking up on it, then change will happen, and that's where the unity in numbers will happen. It sucks. It was over a national anthem, and that should have. I also agree in English, but it's kind of a petty thing where it really didn't matter if it's like it's the same.
It's dumb.
It's still. Where like in the end what came out of that is like a lot of backlash, like, oh, now I'm going to your stadium, can I speak Spanish or not? Now like, you're gonna ban me too. Now they're gonna hear that for months, when it could have been avoided, when they could have stood with us, when they could have just been there more for us.
I don't know why they should have just said yes, but
I think it's more like they're also receiving money from the government. There's certain teams that are receiving money from the government, so if they go the other way, they're also have their hands tied.
I think they were just trying to stay away from the politics.
They're just trying to stay away from the politics.
That's
like we're just Dodgers here to play a sport band.
Yeah,
and that's how it is sometimes too. Like I said, my friend who's on the air,
but it's just hard to feel like you see these families being torn apart, and then the Dodger Stadium providing parking for all these.
I know, I see that too.
Agents, it's kind of like cool. Like really like
really, bro. you guys know you're doing that,
and like
it's private property.
And there's families that like their grandpa's a Dodger fan, and it's so in our culture, in the Latino culture, so it's
Dodgers is Latino culture.
Yeah, it is a Latino culture. It's not a real Dodger game. There's not a fight or anything like all that crazy.
Yeah, if you're
stuff,
a Padre fans and it's Giants, you're not Latino.
You know what? You know what, guys? Whatever.
I
mean, I think.
Man, that's gonna spark something right there.
I think this conversation is taking a different route.
If you're Giants or Padres, you're not Latino or Hispanic.
Whatever. Anyway, okay, since these guys derailed from the real conversation,
we gotta get going.
And just remember that change starts with conversations like these. Yeah. So thank you so much to both of you for sitting through this conversation. I know that it's a hard one, right?
I love that you're an immigrant.
It's huh? Oh my God. Yeah, he's gonna start making fun of me.
I love that you weren't born here. You're welcome. I love it.
It's okay. We got the West Covina police.
Yeah, they're on your side. Great, guys. If I'm not here next week, bail me out. No,
long as I keep it.
The reason why I love this topic too is because I didn't really speak a lot on it because, you know, a lot of you don't really know me in that way. I mean, you've barely met me, and I was very Chicano back then, so that's why I didn't speak too much because the anger could come up from my past of things I've personally experienced. I
hope you're dealing with it.
You know, I hope you're dealing. So me just being quiet and kind of doing the things, it's not because I don't want to say anything. It's because, you know what? You know, like you said, we all have our opinions. It's amazing that we get able to sit here together, share our opinions, still love each other and stuff, and that's what it's all about, you know?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, you know, what they're trying to do to us and divide us. We're here to unite it still and be able to be a strong voice.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because we love this community and
West Covina is 51% Hispanic.
There you go. He's been doing his facts straight. He's getting his facts straight. But
that's right. Thanks, man. I was waiting for it.
Yeah, but with that said, thank you so much for tuning in to Let's Connect Now. I really appreciate you guys each and every week that that you guys listen to us, you know, and gives us your thumbs up. It just, you know, empowers us to continue to, you know, to host for you guys. And thank you for allowing us to have this kind of conversation. Really appreciate you giving your input. You know, I appreciate your input. And for right now, I'm just gonna say hasta la próxima, mi gente.
What she said. I don't know what she said.
You guys, much love.
Thank you so much for watching Let's Connect Now. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. And if you want to be a sponsor, contact us today.